feel when your numbers go up and they hear you. They start following your message cause they feel you. Haters in the rear view wanna ruin plans. Don't be startled, they just low-key fans. They tight like bands on the fresh stack. Knowing Rolo runs the city, bringing hip-hop back for the 51st year with my loquacious bands. Now this ain't no love.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Rolo Runs The City podcast. I am your host Rolo, and we are back with another great episode for you guys. And of course, I am absolutely grateful for you guys checking me out, checking out all my material, checking out my shorts, checking out my reels, and actually, engaging in the content. I really do appreciate the support. And I'm in full gratitude mode here, man. So I greatly do appreciate everything, every view, every comment, every like, every dislike. No matter what, I greatly do appreciate the feedback no matter what. So without further ado, I definitely want to bring you this show. But of course, we got to hit the particulars, and you guys already know what that is. The socials, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or Facebook at Rolo Runs The City Podcast, as well as Rolo Runs The City Music. You either get the podcast or you get the music, no matter what, you get me. And not to forget that I am also on X at Rolo Runs The City. So like I said, every now and then I drop a good little series that I'm starting right now with the Dear Son series. Of course, it's a message to my son, stuff that I want to, of course, have him learn throughout his journey in life, and always can refer to dad no matter what. That stuff is there, as well as, you could catch me on the YouTubes as well at Rolo Runs The City. Feel free to check me out on any of the streaming platforms. I am there, video content wise. I am on YouTube. And without further ado, and not to forget, RoloRunsTheCity.com. All things Rolo. Feel free to check me out there. I'm there as well. But now, I definitely want to get into this topic. And of course, this topic, much like every other topic, is very near and dear to my heart. Look, if my heart's not tugging at this thing and I'm just not feeling full motion into it, it does not get done. So, it's always near and dear to my heart. So I like to think that I have a lot of depth to what I'm doing. So I want to make sure that I bring that to you guys. But today's topic, of course, is the poor admires material riches. And I've really felt this, and this was like so hitting home for me because, I was a person who grew up in poverty, grew up in public housing, born in Brooklyn, New York, raised out in public housing out there, then moved to Lawrence, Massachusetts, and again being subjected to public housing. But I have no control of what my mom was trying to get done with her life. That was totally up to her, between her and the covenant that she had with God or didn't have. But it was solely her decisions, not mine, not anybody else's but her own. And as a child, all you can do is kind of do the best you can to endure that situation. So there are many kids out there. I'm not just a unique case. Like I said, we all go through our certain things. And it's not necessarily just kids that come from, public housing or anything like that. You have a lot of kids that come from poverty that live out in rural areas, even suburbs. Not everybody out there's got the white picket fence and the dream home, and you don't know if dad abuses mom or mom's an alcoholic. Everybody goes through their own share of things, and unfortunately in this lifetime we all get subjected to certain vices, and we just have to do the best we can to climb out of that situation. But anyway, this really hit me hard because I've mentioned in past episodes I've endured a lot of this pain, this poverty, this abuse, so that way my children wouldn't have to. And it's unfortunate that there's a lot of people who don't have that mindset, and what they ended up doing is keep on repeating the cycle. Of course, this is where generational poverty takes place. And when we talk about, admiring material riches or whatnot, we're not only talking about, monetization and things of that nature, but we're also talking about poor in spirit, poor in health, and it's absolutely unfortunate that many people are not able to wake up and recognize their own demise, and they're not able to climb out of their situation. And for those who are able to do that, kudos to you. And for those who are having a hard time, just please recognize where you're coming from and do the best you can to become better from it. And for those who have went through it and have climbed out and have seen the other side, and you see people that are trying to climb out as well, don't knock them back down on that side of the fence. Please help them over. So I felt like this was a great topic to bring up. But anyway, many people in poverty, they chase what they don't have in material riches. Like they say, whatever you chase runs away from you. So you may want to be in the business of starting to become what you want, so then that way you can attract what you are about to get. And it's not just about material things, but it's about the person that you want to be. I always feel like this in reference to running. Whenever I'm at the start line, and it doesn't matter the distance, I always say this is the version of Rolo that I'm leaving behind. The version of Rolo that I'm about to achieve is when I cross that finish line. And when you cross the finish line, it's just the beginning of a new race. But this allows you to never peak. So that's basically what we're trying to do, is develop a never peak mentality. Because I feel bad for those who feel like that their greatest days are behind them, or I was a great football player in high school, and having like the Al Bundy syndrome. For those who are old enough, you guys know what I'm talking about. But you definitely want to make sure that you have a mindset that you never want to peak. That's one thing that needs to be put into play when you're trying to climb out of poverty, is never having a peak style mentality. Always keep ascending. Don't ever think about the descent. Just keep rising. Okay. The poor undervalues the things that are free to us in life, like our core gifts of having a healthy mind, having a healthy body, having a great spirit, thinking about something outside of themselves, being a part of a bigger community, and showing gratitude. Like, there's so many people who didn't wake up today, but you did. And for you to get up and gripe and complain about getting up is not the move. You want to make sure you do the best that you can to exercise gratitude, to show, hey, I'm glad I'm here, I deserve to be here, and I'm going to make the best of my day. That's just where I stand on that, but it's very rare, that you see people under these conditions ascend to the top 20% of their desired work. Okay. Not saying that it doesn't happen. Like I said, it's a rarity. It's not like it doesn't happen at all. But like I said, through the emphasis of being grateful for those core values of a healthy mind, body, having a great connection with your creator, expressing gratitude, these people are actually able to reach those heights of being a part of the top 20% of their desired work, or their passion, of what they're planning on doing with the rest of their lives, because they understand that the goal and the mission is much bigger than they are. So it's a rarity, but it happens. And not everybody is a hooper. Not everybody can catch a football. Not everybody is an actor or an actress or a rapper. Like, you have actual professional people who go out there, pound the pavement every day to make their dreams come true. And it doesn't necessarily have to do anything with entertainment. But my thing is that, especially with the minority community, a lot of times we get, casted as, if you're living in an affluent neighborhood, oh, he must be a baseball player, or he must be a basketball player, or he's got to be a rapper. You know what I mean? But you never know how that person had come to be and ended up in your affluent neighborhood, and is more than likely a professional. Could be an investor, can be a serial entrepreneur, can be an attorney, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You know, I mean, biochemical engineer. You just never know. So I never want to discount somebody just because of their chemical makeup, because you can't help being born who you are, but you can help your situation by becoming the best professional that you could possibly be. Whatever you love, dive very hard into it. So then that way you can show people how it's done and that it's possible. Not everybody starts with a head start, okay? It just is what it is. But anywho, you know, there's no secret in what, you know, people that go through poverty lack, okay? They lack a sense of health education. I think that needs to be promoted more, especially in our inner cities where these type of, you know, situations hit the most in reference to poverty. You know, talking about anything from STDs to being a mother or a father prematurely. You know, actually bringing that education to the forefront is the best thing that you could possibly do to help a community. Not have them put a Planned Parenthood on the corner of your hood. So then that way it's like, oh, it's okay, you know, you went ahead and knocked up somebody by accident, it's okay, we'll just go ahead and abort it quick. I mean, I'm a person who's like really like pro-life, but even though with me saying that I'm pro-life, I do believe people have the right to choose what they should do with their body. At the end of the day, though, the way I look at things is that's a personal decision that you have to deal with. You know what I mean? I'm not the one that has to deal with it. Your mama don't have nothing to deal with it. Your cousin don't. Your brother, your sister don't. You have to deal with that. So, at the end of the day, like I said, I am a pro-life person, but I do believe that people who feel that they should be pro-choice, go ahead and do your thing. My thing is the abuse of that situation and consistently going to Planned Parenthood and you're on your 8th abortion within the last, 18 months. I mean, that's not only is it taxing to the body, but it's a perfect example of what a poverty mindset looks like. And that's something that we need to make sure that we bring some more education to the forefront in reference to health education. As well as, like I said, terminal diseases, things of that nature. The only education that you're seeing that's being brought about terminal diseases is saying, hey, Big Pharma's throwing out ads everywhere on wherever you get your streaming services at about HIV medication and herpes medication and whatever sort of gonorrhea, whatever the hell you got. You know what I mean? I mean, it's absolutely unfortunate that that's the education that people are receiving is by ads, and it's not educating you on what not to get. This is the treatment after the fact. So, for Big Pharma to target people as well, I mean, that's a crazy notion, but it happens. And it's unfortunate, but you have to recognize the signs. You always have to remember there's somebody out there willing to eat off of you. How much are you willing to give up on your plate? It's just like taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, government's going to get theirs. So how much are you willing to give? It just is what it is, man. But also poor stress management. A lot of people in impoverished communities go through very bad, poor stress management, and the reason why they end up going through this is because they never get taught, like, hey, the best way that you can handle stress is actually putting work towards something you love, working out, doing what you're supposed to do. But what happens is that I'm behind on my bills, this and that. I don't want to let go. I'm fighting to keep this, but I can't keep it. I have to resort to other means of doing things, something that you're not necessarily comfortable with, and that puts you in a compromising situation. And in actuality, the best thing that you can do is, like I say all the time, let go, let God. He died for our sins, therefore it's a sin to worry. Why would we do that if He's already paid it forward? My thing is, I truly believe in that. Let go, let God. God knows what He's doing. Leave it at that. You got to kind of wash your hands from the situation. poor stress management is a high top killer in reference to, people who go through poverty. It's almost like a car with a powerful engine and has no wheels. You're just, that thing's 750 horsepower just banging through the hood, right? It's revved up and it's not going anywhere. So could you imagine if let's just rev this thing up for about a good 3 or 4 days. That engine's probably going to be shot. Okay? That's what happens to people. Especially if you're not doing things and handling your stress the right way. You're not exercising. You're not putting anything toward some sort of bigger work that you want to do, whether if it's helping out in your community, whether if it's being creative and creating something, a hobby or even a side hustle or whatever it is. If you're not doing these constructive things, you're being destructive to your body. And you're just like that engine that's been revving 750 horsepower for the last 72 hours. Like, you're going to burn out. It's going to blow up. End of story. It just is what it is. For no matter how strong that engine is, if it's not going anywhere and if it doesn't get the proper rest that it needs, it is going to burn out. It just is what it is. So don't be like a damn car that doesn't have wheels on it. Do something constructive. As well as, preventative care. We talked about this. Preventative care falls into stress management. And we're not talking about preventative care as in reference to, taking medication, becoming doped up on opioids. Unfortunately, man, if you look at majority of the people that are out there right now, they're either high on Pop-Tarts because they're eating all this processed sugar, or they're high on opioids. I mean, it is literally out here the Walking Dead. These folks out here are like the Walking Dead. They have went ahead and sold to Big Pharma for the next high. And the crazy thing is, the government is quick to lock up the dope boy from the corner, but they're dragging their feet when it comes to doctors prescribing statins to people who don't need them. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's ironic, but what can you do, right? But anyway, what this actually does as well is it leads people to become consumers to goods and focuses basically on consumer goods, and that way they can escape. Okay? Like, that's where you get shopaholics come around. Oh, I need retail therapy. And in actuality, it's like, you don't need to buy anything. So, put your credit card away. You know what I mean? You don't need that. You just need to put yourself, somewhere in a quiet room, and you need to breathe on it and meditate for a little bit and get through your episode. This is another reason why, sports figures, especially in America, make millions and millions of dollars, because they have so many people out here who are just sacrificing their own well-being and personal time on getting better into avoiding what needs to be addressed so they can go watch the big ball game. Now, I will tell you this. It's not like I don't like sports. I do like sports. But sports can't be a part of it. It can't be the biggest part of your life. Okay? Like, dude, I love WWE. WWE is one of, it's like, dude, I'm locked in on Monday Night Raw. You know what I'm saying? I'm knocked in on the premium live events. You know what I mean? I love watching the developmental wrestlers coming from NXT and Evolve and all that. I like that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, too, I know that that's not my end-all, be-all. That's not my escape. You do stuff for entertainment. You don't let entertainment, take you over. Get entertained. Don't be a slave to the entertainment. And always make sure that you keep on putting your best foot forward to put out your best work. And stop admiring other people when you're the hero of your own movie, so why not act that way? You know what I mean? So, too many people, they're just Netflixing and chilling, man. And, you ain't got all day. You need to make sure that you're being very purposeful with your time. And that's one of the things that the impoverished communities need to really work on is time management. People say, oh, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. You have plenty of time to get things done. You just got to focus in on what's important to you. Netflix and chilling, or trying to expand your being. Do with that what you will. But anywho, But, many people need a mindset shift and focus on intangible wealth. This I agree with. You know what I'm saying? The mental resilience. Do something hard, man. Hit the gym. The hardest thing that you can do is put your shoes on in the morning and go work out. Once your shoes are on, man, you're going to go for the workout because that's half the battle right there. Clean up your diet. Do what you're supposed to do. Develop that mental resilience. You're uncomfortable. You're not hungry. Third world countries, they're hungry. They don't know where the next meal's coming from. You could go to a Walmart down the street in the United States and say, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy this, this, and that. Normally I navigate outside of the supermarket. That's where all your Whole Foods are at, your produce and everything, your meats and everything. And then you also have the inside aisles, which is where your ultra processed foods are at. Either or, I try to stay away from that. Develop some mental resilience. Stay away from that section. Try to shop some Whole Foods. See what you can get. See where you can go. Stop getting high off of that Pop-Tart sugar. You know what I mean? Also, this entails focusing on your body. Develop that discipline with your mouth. You can also develop the discipline with the body. Once you take care of that diet, the body's going to do what it needs to do. So that's when you need to move it, make it stronger, exercise. You guys know the deal, okay? And you need to believe in something higher than yourself. And it kills me when folks are like, oh, I'm an atheist, right? Like, I do. So what you're saying is not only do you not believe in a higher being, and that's fine, whatever. To each is his or her own. You know what I'm saying? I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But you have a lot of folks, they believe in, like I said, the universe, Buddha, Allah, whatever. I think it's a noble notion when you're able to believe in something bigger than yourself. But when you tell me, oh, I'm an atheist, like, dude, you don't believe in yourself either. It is what it is. Like, that's why you live the life that you live. You're white knuckling through life. You're just living just a sad existence because you have to at least believe in yourself. And when you're telling me that that's your response, it means you really don't believe in yourself either. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. It is what it is, guys. You guys have to be able to tap into something greater than yourself. Because at that point, that's when you become the person you need to be. Be the best family man that you can be. Be the best dad you can be. Understand that you're raising children. You're raising little girls to hopefully become great wives, to stand on their own, to want a significant other, but not necessarily need a significant other. Creating great husbands, men of chivalry. Like, let's really stay focused on the task at hand. You know what I mean? And I say this because people that are poverty driven don't have these things in mind. They're so busy chasing money. They think money is the end all be all. They think it's going to cure everything. And the same way that you got the money so fast is the same way you're going to lose it so fast, because you don't have the discipline in place to make sure that you can build upon it. And many financially free individuals are slaves, to be honest with you. Okay, they're slaves to their emotion. Therefore, they're not really free either. So you may see a lot of millionaires or billionaires. They're like, oh man, they've got life figured out, and many of them know the hell they don't. You got guys that are making money that are obese. They do zero movement. The most work that they do is opening and closing the car door in reference to their physicality. And they're about 10 chicken nuggets away from having a heart attack. At the end of the day, you've been chasing the bag and chasing the bag and chasing the bag. And in actuality, you've become a slave to the bag. You're not financially free. Your bank account says one thing, your health says the other. I can tell you just like this. Steve Jobs, I believe, died at the age of 55. I think he died of cancer. And that guy was a workhorse. Workaholic. I think his net worth was $10 billion before he passed away. And with that being said, I'm sure that he would trade that $10 billion, just give it away, net worth zero, just to have another day to live. So he can try to redeem himself and take back his life, as opposed to getting swallowed by entrepreneurship. it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. But you have to think about it. Next time you shop for clothing, think about how many billionaires you're wearing. Whether if it's Louis, Gucci, Birkin, Givenchy, whatever you're wearing. Okay? Absolutely think about that. There's so many people that are like, oh, I wear this brand, I wear that brand, I wear this brand, I wear that brand. Dude, they have these folks wearing so many different brands on themselves at once, looking crazy as hell, because at the end of the day, I mean, I've seen some folks looking horrible. And I'm talking about they think they look good. It's like, dude, your health is crap. You don't care about your body. You care more about what's on your body as opposed to what's underneath those clothes. You look like crap. I like knowing the fact that when I take off my clothes, I look freaking great naked. And I don't have to wear crazy, brands. Dude, I think I stopped doing that with this whole brand thing. I want to say back in 2012. That was a long time ago. Like, I stopped with these wearing brands, and I realized to myself, I said, damn, man, I'm making other people rich. You know what I mean? And you start putting things into perspective. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the brands don't make me look good. Like, so I'm going to throw that out the window. Taking care of my body, doing what I'm supposed to do, eating the right food, working out, making sure that I have the physical appearance that I know that I love to look at when I'm naked, looks good in the clothes that I wear. So I make my clothes look good. You know what I mean? I'm not out here trying to wear brands or do things like that. I love how, and there's many days I don't match, in reference to my clothes and the colors on my clothes. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if people got some damn sense, they're not looking at what I'm wearing. They're looking at, damn, that dude's in great shape. It just is what it is. So take with that information what you will. But another thing too that poverty really hits hard is the fact that people feel like they, being nice is free. Compliments are free. Giving a compliment is free. I love to, give people compliments. I love to give people their flowers, because not only is it a thing that makes people feel good, right? But it's free. But people are out here mean mugging, just upset, acting like it's not free. Acting like they charge for their compliments, they charge for their attention, they charge for their time. I mean, it's absolutely, it's sickening, man. It really is. But anyway, that's all the time that I have for this week, man. I hope that you guys can really, really understand where I'm coming from. Break out of a poverty mindset. Compliment your people. It's free, man. It's okay. Compliment your folks. Let people know you love them. Stop making all these folks richer than what they already are. Start developing yourself. Start developing yourself. Start being stout. Get strong with your body. And do the things that are necessary to become the ultimate human being that you are meant to be. Let's not use race. Let's not use color. Let's not use gender to make an excuse on why we're not where we need to be. Y'all take care. Godspeed. I greatly do appreciate you guys listening to me today. And always remember, be the goat, never a sheep. And don't sleep on your dreams. Take care. Peace.